What's up, guys? It's Coaster College, top 10 rides at Busch Gardens, Williamsburg. This is my home park that I probably will have some vlogs coming out for over the summer. And I got the passes, so you might see some stuff from Water Country, USA too. So I'm going to get into the countdown. Number 10 is not going to be too surprising. It's Grover's Alpine Express. It's the kid coaster in the Sesame Street Forest of Fun section. I went there once and I wasn't that impressed with the kids section they have there, but that's for a different video of a review. I experienced this in the front row, back row, and like the middle row. It's not the only coaster made by Zyre in this park. They also have another one that is also in this countdown because this is every ride. It's a Force 190 model, which is not that common, and it's not too bad of a ride. Number 9 is a surprising ride. It's Tempesto. It's 150 feet. It's a skyrocket too, so it will consist of three launches, and it has one inversion, which is just a little barrel roll at the top after you hit the third launch. The best row, it doesn't really matter because this is debatable. I said the front row is good because you get the first launch and the second launch, but if you're in the back row off of the second launch, then you also get you go up higher and you go down longer. The time is 44 seconds, but this depends on kind of which row you're in. But I enjoyed it more in the back row. I know this is confusing for some of you, but this is because of the restraints. I probably would have enjoyed this more if it was like a lap bar, but since it's only it's the over the shoulder restraints with a lap bar, it's hard to enjoy. Number 8 isn't really a coaster. It's a drop tower, and I just wanted to say this. The only thing that's like bad about this is the height. I know it's still the tallest thing in Busch Gardens, but like compared to other drop towers I've been on, this one's pretty weak. I was saying that I've also been on Chariot Drop of Doom, which is the tallest in the world. I didn't enjoy this as much as I enjoyed Chariot. This is a Moser's Rides, the best row. It's a drop tower, so there's no rows. I put it on this list because it's also used for like this park especially. It deserves to be here because it spirals up on the way to the top, so you get to experience the park, which is voted the best landscaped and it looks the best from the Golden Ticket Awards. So I just decided to put on here so I could say something about it. Number 7 is Lochness Monster. This ride is actually surprisingly it's really good. It's 130 feet, which isn't too tall for this park, which they've had some pretty tall rides. 60 miles an hour, so it's pretty fast for aerodynamics. Like saying that this is like they have many rides standing, but I would say this is one of the best. People say that it's pretty shaky. I've found it to be smooth. This could easily be one of the best rides in the park, but I would say that because it's a long coaster, as you can see, it's 2 minutes long. One of the longest coasters at Busch Gardens. It has 2 inversions, the only coaster in the world with interlocking loops. And what makes this ride not as good is the restraints. What happens? Your wrists will get clicked in by the restraints, and you won't be able to move your wrists for some of the ride. But overall, it's an amazing ride. Number 6, again, isn't too much of a ride as is a water or extra flat ride. This is Escape from Pompeit. It doesn't really have a released speed, but it's 50 feet. The manufacturer is Intamin, which is weird because this is one of their few water rides, as they're most known for their coasters. 2 minutes and 10 seconds again, as in for Lochness Monster. It's a shoot the chutes model, which is just pretty much means you go up the lift, go through a little bit, and then drop. I did enjoy this ride. I think it's one of the best themed rides at Busch Gardens as you go through the temple in Pompeit and you see the broken statues and the fire effect. It's just a well themed ride for an Intamin. Number 5 is Alpengeiste. No surprise here. Its height is 195 feet, which people get mad at because they're not making it a hyper. Speed 67 miles an hour. This is the tallest B&M invert. The best row is the front because it's a really shaky ride. The time is 3 minutes and 10 seconds, which is surprising because it doesn't feel that long. It's an B&M invert, as I said, it has 6 inversions, but this has changed in my opinion. What happened? I went there last Friday, and this ride has changed dramatically. It felt not only 67, but like 75 miles an hour, and it was actually smooth. I feel like it still belongs in the same place, like, because number 4 and number 6 is still a little bit not as great as Alpengeiste, but number 4 is I would say it's a lot better than Alpengeiste, just because of how much fun this next ride is. The next ride is Verbolten. The height is 88 feet, it's not the tallest ride. The speed is 53 miles an hour, and as I said, there is another coaster by Zyre on this. It is this ride. The best row is the front row because when you're hitting those launches, because this is a multi-launch, there's 2 launches, one at the beginning and one after the drop track. And this time is 3 minutes and 25 seconds, so it's a pretty long ride. It's just a family launch ride, which Zyre doesn't make many rides, and it has 0 inversions. There's 2 things that I want to say also. If you're looking at the very front row, if you look to your right, on the fridge, the top left sticker says Zyre on it, which I found when I was on the right side of the 2 seated train. I was in the front row, as like I said, this is the best row is the front. I saw the sticker, and I'm like, that's kind of weird, because I've known for a long time this is made by Zyre. And also, as you can see, I couldn't find a picture for Verbolten, because some of the newer rides don't have pictures. So, as you see, like, Verbolten didn't, but also, as you see, the first 3 rides, like Mach Tower and stuff like that, didn't have it. I'm not sure why exactly, like Tempesto, like, that's a newer ride. And, so didn't Grover's, but that's just probably because it's not as well known. But as you can see, this one, I have found kind of a picture. This is a Big Bad Wolf, which is, people say to be better than Verbolten, but I have never got to experience Verbolten. But this is kind of the same path that it took. As you can see, instead of it would go up to the point, you see where like the drop is, there would be a little wooden like shack there, and it would like just be a nice little place to like cool off after the crazy launch. And then it would drop you down, and as you can see where it kind of banks off, you might actually gray out there. I didn't not gray out, but people say that they've grayed out on that part. And then I've actually grayed out on the second part other than the first part, and I have no clue why. Number 3 is probably going to be more surprising than putting Tempesto at number 9. It is the Griffon. Most people say that this is the either best or second best ride at the park. I put it at number 3. This is the tallest. This is the tallest at Busch Gardens, but also the second tallest at in the whole like Virginia state, followed by Intimidator 305, which is kind of crazy because it's another 100 feet taller. This is the speed is 71 miles an hour. This is a B&M dive coaster. The best row is the front. And because when you hang over, like all B&M wings do, usually the best row is the front because it's only 3 trains. So there's really no back row. But if you're in the front row, when you're leaning over, you will be at the front of your seat waiting to dive into the first one of 2 inversions, which is a Immelman. Then you will go up into a brake run, which is followed by a dive loop, which then you will hit a airtime hill, which people say that it's not, it's an airtime hill, but I found it to be more of an airtime hill than, like, at the time I was out of my seat, I found it to be the biggest airtime hill in the whole park, which was crazy because of the next ride is a InvadR, which is the brand new GCI Woody, which is the only wooden ride in the whole entire SeaWorld entertainment chain. It has the height of 74 feet with a top speed of 48 miles an hour, which is really surprising because it felt really fast. The best row is the back row. I've got to experience this, the front row twice and the back row twice, and in the middle like 3 times. The model hasn't been released yet, last time I checked, because this was made a little while ago. And it's a family ride, which was really surprising because I thought this was just gonna be for kids, but then I ride it and I'm like, man, I really like this. And so, what could number 1 be? Of course, Apollo's Chariot, the B&M Hyper. It has a height of 250 feet, the speed of 73 miles an hour, and the wow, I cannot talk right now for some reason. 73 miles an hour. The manufacturer is B&M. The best row is the front row because if you lean forward some of the times on the ride, it will be like easily the best. Like, I could really put this up against some of the rides at King's Dominion because this is more of a theme park than an amusement park. And this is a B&M Hyper, but I know what you're thinking. The height is only 170 feet. Well, the drop on this ride goes below. It makes it able to be a Hyper. Which, if you're comparing drops, the truth is, this is the biggest drop in the park. It has a drop of almost as much as Griffon. I'm not exactly sure if I can remember how big the drop is, and it's a hypercoaster, so it most likely will have no inversions. Well, this is my countdown for Busch Gardens, Williamsburg. I probably will have another one coming out later today, but for now, this is Coaster College. Please remember to like and subscribe and leave a comment if you have anything that I should change in this list. And even make your own opinions in the comments. I'll see you guys in a future video. See you guys next time. Bye.